up, weebs? Welcome to WeeaBoots, the only anime review podcast from, well, the only contemporary anime review podcast from GigaBoots.com. I'm your host, Anime Danime, and with me is WeeaBob.
Capitalism rules.
From GigaBoots, Dr. Agro.
The Friendship Express goes choom choom.
And Chris Wolfhard.
Fuck Netflix.
This time we watch Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the 10-episode Netflix anime made by Studio Trigger, featuring Franz Ferdinand music, because Akira Yamaoka worked on it. That's just how that seems to work, I guess. Oh no, usually a transition to, so Bob, who made this? I'm doing it anyway. Hey Bob, who made this?
This was made by Hiroyuki Imaishi of Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Promare, Dead Leaves, and Sex and Violence with Mach Speed fame.
That is the most obvious thing in the world.
Yes, you cannot miss it unless you're not looking at the screen ever.
I don't know. You can kind of hear it.
Yes. Of course, made by Studio Trigger, as we already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
They've done all of those things and more. And the character designer is Yo Yoshinori. I write this in here, which I usually don't, because that's the guy who designed Little Witch Academia. He's basically the other huge dude at Trigger.
These huge dudes, like they're Gears of War characters.
Yes.
I assume so.
And this was primarily written, Trigger guys adapted the screenplay, but the overarching stuff was written by Rafal Jockey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce that.
I have no idea.
And Bartosz Sitzbor. It's a Polish name.
Dude.
So that's my best chance.
And not even going to try. And of course, as I mentioned, music by Akira Yamaoka, which,
Yes.
yeah, is very much that.
Before we start talking about the show, fuck Netflix.
Okay.
The subtitles for the show are useless.
What was the problem on your side?
It seems like they had an auto captioner run on the dub and used those as the subtitles. They were wrong constantly. From stuff like Maine calling the protagonist Doug in the subs when he's saying dog, or getting every time they say choom wrong, every time they say eddies, which is the currency. And it gets worse as you get deeper into the show.
Weird.
Like, I watched it dubbed, but I still have subtitles on because this show actually had pretty good audio mixing, but most shows don't. So I had them up, and I'm like, wow, you are wrong on almost every line.
Brutal.
Yeah, I remember on our side there was a lot of timing issues, and I did notice the Doug thing and went, what? But I actually didn't notice the other stuff. I wonder if they're patching it up slowly as time goes on.
Possible.
I did watch this, like, the day it came out.
Right. And we watched it yesterday. So maybe they patched it up. Who knows? Doug is still there for sure, though.
Yeah, and it definitely had some of those timing issues of two lines would pop up within a millisecond.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also times where they're just missing words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or times where it literally said in one point, inaudible. Well, like, it wasn't to me.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what your fucking problem was.
It was Tenet. We promise. But before we get into this, we're going to steal a segment from our Spoilercast reviews and do a couple sentences about what we thought about it, accompanied by a sound. We're going to go ahead and start with Dr. Agro.
Usually, you would expect Trigger to save anime. This time, it seems like they were contracted to save a fucked up video game launch. Little late, but by no means short. I'm going to give this a...
Okay. We go next to Bob.
This feels like one of the most brutal and real depictions of a capitalist hellscape I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's done by Trigger, which makes it very pretty. I'm going to give it a... Whoa.
Next, Chris Wolfhart.
Somehow, to balance out all the fucking up Netflix does every single moment of every day, they accidentally gave Trigger a bunch of money to make a hyper-violent cyberpunk 90s OVA, but it's 10 episodes long and in 2022. So I'm going to give it a ooh.
The absurdist, excessive violence and animation of vehicles in this is really peak Trigger. I appreciate that they can have fun with the absurdly visceral violence while also being very grounded and staying true to the message of this hellscape. Also, it was a great story, even though this is more than 2 sentences. I'm going to give it a sexual violence.
It is interesting that in this setting, trigger physics aren't as jarring as they usually are.
Yeah, it's weird for that to be happening in this serious location.
Every time that they did like the standard Amaishi like comedy beat, where like somebody will get punched and then like snap to the ground and bounce, except all their organs come out.
Yes.
In this one,
Yeah.
I was losing it.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
It was really good
so
every
good.
time. It's just like, we're going to attach to the vehicle. They hit the harpoon, and you just expect it to attach. And instead, it blows someone's head off.
like this, because they went so fucking like so brutal, it's funny. Like, this is the difference that some people don't understand between cyberpunk and sci-fi. Cyberpunk is fucking grisly. It is rocket powered, sugar rush, baby metal in your head shit, where in sci-fi you get hit with a laser, so now you have a laser wound. In Cyberpunk, mantis blades pop out of a guy's forearms and fucking eviscerate you. Sorry, roll a new character.
Yeah. Yeah. I really appreciate that extreme brutalism all throughout, especially even when it comes to the mental condition and state of people in this. Just the constant juicing in order to keep the chrome attachments and the through lines they draw throughout the entire series for that. Which just, like, at no point do they go, well, that's a neat thing in the background. We're going to write a story that has nothing to do with it. Right. Which is, I don't know. Like, I love Trigger, and I didn't even expect them to fucking nail it like this.
I mean, cyberpunk is a genre like it started out in books, and in like the 80s we had some tabletop games, but really anime kept it alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It carried it forward. So to see them come back and just make like the coolest licensed TV show based on a video game in history.
Yeah. This was amazing because here's the thing, you know, as little bit of that YouTube analytics magic, that YouTube algorithm magic I put in the title of the Tekken podcast, you know, best video game adaptation ? But I'm sitting here and I'm like,
now
this
it's period.
But see, here's the weird part. Calling this an adaptation of Cyberpunk 2077 feels disingenuous to this.
Yeah, it might be a disservice.
It reaches further back, I feel. It touches into the original work a lot more. Like, I don't know. It feels weird to call this an adaptation of that video game. It's just funny as a contrast, though.
I mean, it's both. That's part of the magic of this project, because it is just also something else in the cyberpunk setting. It's completely its own thing. But it also does so much meticulous work to lift all of the visuals and sound design and all those little bits that make the world feel so good in the game. And just they're all right at home in this fucking anime. It's amazing.
Also, there are a number of locations that are directly from the game. Also, timeline-wise, for anyone who's curious, this is supposed to be 1 year before the game.
Huh.
For anyone who's curious. At the moment, they're like, yeah, Adam Smasher, big dick guy. I'm just like, oh, that must be the coolest guy in all of Cyberpunk. And just like, yeah, that guy exists. And I'm like, oh, you're going to wish you didn't by the end of this, I bet. 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, like everything we've described so far, you know, it's amazing that in the midst of all this is an amazingly character-driven story.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many characters, and yet each one feels fleshed out really well.
And has a point. Like, there are very few characters that just come and go and didn't mean anything. In fact, I think the only one that I would describe as that is Falco.
Yeah, Matt Mercer's character.
I was like, oh, fuck, is that Matt Mercer? Live, Matt Mercer! I'm like, I care about all these characters. Uh-oh.
You figure out real quick how this is going to go, I feel like, because it's like, oh no, this is a cyberpunk thing.
It's great because while in any other series, I feel like somewhere around episode 7 or 8, I'd be like, that's how it should go, but it won't happen. But with this, the way it was carrying itself up until that point, I'm like, oh fuck, they have the balls. They're going to do it. They're going all in.
They went harder than I expected them to go.
Yeah.
I guess here's where we get into spoilers.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
I expected David to fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect it to be a completely meaningless death.
Yeah, he doesn't. There's no draw. He just gets killed. She gets away though, so it's not completely meaningless.
Yeah, like
but
it's not complete, but he doesn't loot. He doesn't own Atom Smasher. He doesn't win and die. He fucking loses.
Yeah, they didn't have like our main characters accomplished nothing as far as the city goes. Like nothing has changed. They can't change the status quo. That's not what this is about. It can't be.
Yeah,
The
even
world is just too screwed.
even the super mech kid is not powerful enough to change this fucked up world that is
To
Cyberpunk.
not even beat like the biggest super Chad in existence, to beat this dude who's the head of security of a company.
Yeah.
And even at the end, when she gets away, she goes to the moon and she's just standing up there like it's the end of The Graduate. Like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's.
I really thought she would. I really thought at the end when she like lifts her arm, like I'm seeing the planet. I thought she was taking the helmet off.
Yeah.
I know.
Like that's what, like I said before, this is the difference between cyberpunk and sci-fi. It is dystopic. It is wild and crazy with bright colors and loud sounds, but at the end, everybody dies while shadow running and nothing changes. The corpse win.
And it delivered on that in a way that was beautifully substantive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not overly edgy without substance, which I'm so sick of, right?
Right.
I'm so sick of something that's like, but everything sucks. And I was like, but you aren't doing anything with that. Do something with that. Cyberpunk's like, this is how bad it is. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you can be edgy, but you have to have humanity.
Yeah. But this it really does accomplish that because it has such a great cast of characters.
Mm-hmm. I really thought at the beginning that I was like, they do the setup with David, and I'm like, oh, good. Another thing where it's like, look at this crazy cool world with all of these really talented and sophisticated operators. Now watch this kid be shitty at it for a few hours.
Yeah.
But then he literally gets a spine, and the show just fucking takes off.
I mean, you're right. That is literally.
The depiction of health insurance in this is stunningly real.
Yep.
Even from episode 1, the death of David's mother is handled in a way that's so sterile and horrible. Like it's honestly one of the worst things.
It's detached and grounded completely.
Yeah, like it's upsetting
Yeah.
to watch, and it feels very real.
Yeah.
Like it's really rough.
And even worse, it's a hot anime mom, so I'm just destroyed. Trigger absolutely just twisting the blade.
She's in the car giving him the pep talk, and I'm like, ma'am, why are you wearing
you're
that jacket? He's wearing that jacket in the trailer. Ma'am, please look out.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this isn't gonna end well for you as soon as we introduce anime mom. Like it never goes well.
I really appreciate the story building that is. This is how she was saving up. Like the fact she's making these deals. But yeah, no, exactly what you said, Bob. It is just so incredibly real,
Like
with her death.
Her ashes are literally deposited out of a vending machine.
I know.
It's so much.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It understands the assignment. Is what this anime does. It gets at the heart of what makes this genre so gripping when it's done this well. It's the questions of what is the point of having a civilization if we do not intend to be civil, and what does it mean to be human when your entire life is dehumanizing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I have this sick arm cannon.
And also that. Like the idea that empowering yourself is completely meaningless because you have no control.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Doesn't matter how many sick upgrades you have, you can't do shit.
I mean, even the fucking Arasaka executive, Tanaka, is even just like, what do you not fucking get? There's no being above this. I'm in this. We're all in this. And I'm like, Jesus, even he knows. Fuck.
Yeah, you don't see like the head of this company. You get like the high end of middle managers,
Right.
who are like, Who are like, call in the fixer.
And then fix the fixer.
Like this is a for the corporation, it was a bad Tuesday.
Somebody gets shuffled around in middle management in one branch somewhere, and we do it again tomorrow.
It's great. You see all of these horrible betrayals and failures just back to back to back near the end. It's just like, did you think I was going to get attached to this? Go out there and be our public failure. And I'm like, God damn.
right near the end, when you know things just start accelerating, I really started thinking like, oh man, this is the difference between Shadowrun and Cyberpunk and like D&D, where you roll your D&D character and you play this campaign for years and you have this story arc and it's high adventure and you're really invested and it's really hard to kill you. In Cyberpunk and Shadowrun, you roll up this character and you roll the fucking dice every time you step outside.
Yeah.
Sniper bullet, sorry.
Basically.
I didn't realize cyberpsychosis was literally like a mechanic in the game to the point of the DM now has control of your character. Just completely. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's a key difference between those, like in Shadowrun, the more metal you have in your body, the less magic you get to do. It's a balancing thing. But yeah, in Cyberpunk, every time you get an upgrade, you roll a dice to see how much empathy you lose.
Yeah. It's really great. Just how much they execute on that.
Yeah, there are several episodes dedicated to this is addiction. Just people get obsessed with continuing to upgrade.
Right.
They can't stop.
De-escalation just does not occur because David doesn't see a way out. For one, in order to see a way out, he would have to have a sense of purpose, right?
Right.
And even if he did, what the fuck are you gonna do?
How do you de-escalate when you live in a world like that?
I know.
They're like, maybe have less sick ass robot parts. Maybe you shut your goddamn mouth.
Yeah. Every character is so great.
Oh my God. The representation of like breach protocols and quick hacking and shit on screen where they're just like going through the actual puzzles you do in game to do all the net running.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that,
You actually have to solve those grid puzzles to do quick hacks and shit. It's so good.
Awesome.
Every graphic and sound effect. It's amazing.
I'm really glad I waited 2 whole years to play that game.
Yes.
And that I picked it up for like $8.
That game's pretty good now that it works.
Yeah.
And assuming you know it's not an RPG.
Right, exactly. We all know it's not Skyrim.
I think they didn't spell it out directly. Do they in the game do they get in the ice baths while they're hacking so that they like are their processors overheating while they do it and they need to cool down?
I
Is that what's
assume
going
that's
on
what's
there?
up.
That does happen when you deep dive.
Okay.
It's something to like. The way it's presented, it's halfway between sensory deprivation and just like shocking your nerves.
Oh, okay. Okay. So not a matter of like they're literally overheating. They need to like shock themselves in some way.
Right.
It's a grounding element. It keeps you in this world.
Definitely not a reason to make our main characters naked.
Well, it's Cyberpunk. So
Yeah, no.
like the first time you see Lucy, like you see her from behind up on that walkway, I'm like, oh no, there's our knockoff Makoto. So this is going great so far.
I sat here and, I've loved so much Trigger stuff, but I sat here and went, man, if movie theaters weren't deathly allergic to rated R films, we could be just getting shit like this all the time from Trigger. Holy fuck. Jesus.
Yep.
That's just so good. And not just because there are giant tits, but also because there are giant tits.
like there are things you see in a bunch of shit that are in this show, and this show makes them look effortless to actually do well. Like shitty new kid learns the ropes of a dangerous profession. Mysterious girl with funky hair maybe doesn't have a weird distant crush on shitty new kid, but she's gonna be coy about it because of previous emotional trauma. This show is a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
That it does all this stuff well. But I feel like I should point out that I was disappointed that this show indulged in woke politics by making Guile black.
Yeah, that was.
I was just like, wow, that's Barrett.
I think he's really voiced by the Jax voice actor.
What? Oh my god. Netflix, they're just out here all the time. God, are we going to see that wave of people? I really doubt it.
Yeah, I think this is well hidden enough.
I think there's a show to talk about here, not just an insane rabble rousing.
Right.
Not one punch was pulled in this entire show.
No.
You know how hard that is to say about anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we get to that episode where Maine goes cyber psycho and everybody dies, and I'm like, we're not at the end of the season.
Right? Yeah, they can just do that halfway through, and it's like, whoa. I didn't think you'd actually do it.
I know. I mean, that and what happens to Becca.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, she just gets splattered.
Yeah, every part of what happens to every character is so, like, viscerally or emotionally devastating.
My God, by the time Becca died, she had firmly become the best character in this show.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Adam Smasher's falling 40 stories down, that I'm like, oh, fuck.
Please.
Godspeed across that rainbow bridge.
Please, like, miss your head. Give me some hope.
And then they're like, just so you can absorb it, here's it on the instant replay. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's so weird seeing these hyper exaggerated trigger animations to such, like, dark content.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so perfect.
And they feel so weirdly grounded because of all of the cyberware.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it absolutely works.
It does.
Oh, this was a perfect marriage.
It was. God.
Because you can tell from the rest of Trigger's output, of course, they get the shit that would make cyberpunk action good. And you can tell from watching anything they make, like, I am an old curmudgeonly weeb. So if you ask me, I will tell you, yes, late 80s, 90s anime, best era, period, hands down.
That's going on the stream deck, just so we're clear.
And there's something in those shows. There's a style to them. There's a rhythm, a sense of direction that, I'm not gonna say like we lost. It's just it changed over time. And the guys at Trigger remember it.
Yeah, they do. Very clearly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shots where you're like, oh, I'm old, and that's for me. We don't make it like that anymore.
Also, this let them, like, remove the lock that is mature content, like just massive amounts of violence and nudity. Like, they clearly always want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this gives them a space to do it in where it can succeed.
Honestly, this reminded me most of that short that Imaishi did of sex and violence with Mach Speed. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but that is
I have not.
Pure. I think it's all black and white. It's pure nonstop violence, and it's something. There is a car chase sequence very much like the one at the end of this.
There's a lot of car chases in this, like the one in like episode 2 where the guy gets ground into mulch under the truck.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah. It says a lot about the world building here that that one dude just spends every day outside fucking a cop.
And then like he's sitting on the stairs and some cops like, yo, that's pretty rough, kid. I'm like, they get it. They get the setting. This is amazing. Hats off to Lucy as a character for being a character archetype that could tank a show by being insufferable or overwrought.
Yeah.
They fucking nailed it. It's weird. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And this really is a difficult thing to I feel like it's easy to be skeptical when you hear about the show, like details about the show, like various things about the show could have tanked it. You know, you brought it up earlier. We're going to watch the scrappy youth get used to doing the job. Oh, no, he literally gets a spine. You know, like all these different things could have gone terribly wrong. It could have been by the numbers, uninteresting, pulled punches, all sorts of things, and it just doesn't. It nails every single bit. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Netflix, just to be clear, it will be war, a declaration of war, if this is not released on Blu-ray.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, oh man, I didn't even consider that. They suck so bad.
Yeah, I don't. Did they release that Devilman Crybaby on Blu-ray?
I don't know, but all of Castlevania is on Blu-ray, so there is hope.
Okay. This honestly reminded me a lot of that, where it was another thing. It was like, big, well-known director does a thing for Netflix where he is allowed to unleash and just do whatever. It also was incredibly dark.
It was. I wonder if the same thing with this is what happened with Devilman Crybaby, because I remember the creators being like, yeah, we included all this fucked up shit in the first draft, assuming that it's that old trick, you know, you give them all the fucked up shit and you get to keep what you actually want. And Netflix just went, okay, this is all fine. Go.
Right. I guess that's what anime is. Go ahead. We asked for that when we asked for an anime to be made. So
yeah, that part of Devilman Crybaby where you can see his entire cock through his underwear. Yeah, that's normal. That must be in all anime. Go ahead.
I mean, it was to the point where, like, David's doing exercises in the shower. Like, he's fully doing squats, and I'm like, no dick?
That was surprising.
I fucking love the part where
He
it's
already
just
had
like,
it modded out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy Pillar was talking to her, Pilar was talking to her. It's just like, dude, you replaced your dick with chrome. That was really great.
I really like that David's special power is just using the Masatsu from Street Fighter.
I wrote down Vism, but yeah, absolutely.
I always phrased it as schmovement because he just T-poses sideways. It's so good.
God, and you know, it's like, yeah, he's moving fast, so they do the after images, and they keep doing it. And by the end of the series, like the last time up on the fucking truck, like it's so visual. It's a fucking visual feast. You're just ramming this shit in your eyes. It's so good.
100% as they're sitting there and they've got the different ends of the corners with the two characters schmoving against each other. And I'm like, oh, this is good.
Even that fits into like the you didn't achieve anything angle. Cause like Adam Smasher has the thing David's really unique for and is better at it than him. Like you just can't beat this guy. I assume that he must be one of those characters that are in every tabletop game where you look at the stat block and it's like the players can't win.
That is a lot easier to do in the Cyberpunk tabletop games. They did a lot of deep pulls in this one. Like they had Adam Smasher in it. I think they actually referenced Raish. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name.
Now I can't remember his name.
Shadow Legend.
I was like, no, that's not the name, but it sounds really. Oh, God damn it, Bob.
So it was a netrunner in old Cyberpunk lore who basically destroyed the old internet.
Oh, that part. I did not realize that would be connected to the deeper lore.
That's old tabletop timeline stuff.
Yeah, Adam Smasher is like a character that's in like the first edition of the tabletop game.
Yeah, no, all of that stuff goes really far back, and it's really interesting.
I was surprised how much they like put into having the lingo. I was just writing down all sorts of words that were unique to the universe, and they were smoothly introduced and worked. Like I'm not like sitting there cringing at them using wizard or something.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Well, there was Nova, which was
Nova was funny. I thought it was funny every time they rolled out Nova.
Yeah, Nova was definitely the weirdest one, but it still worked.
like I was thinking a minute ago, like this show was really, really cool as someone who, you know, knows what this setting is and all the stuff in it. And apparently it works equally well if you don't.
Oh, yeah. No, they executed a tone perfectly. Like, my God. Yeah, I don't know. I really... the lingo was really funny, but it was actually when it was in between completely original lingo and things you could see someone saying about shit nowadays, where, they call all the body modifications chroming, basically. And so the episode 1 ends with him saying, "High time I chromed the fuck up." I was like, God, I love this show.
Yeah.
It's so good, instantly.
Cyberpunk slang is so good.
I'm going to be honest. The number one thing in this entire show that made me go wiki dive Cyberpunk, the moon. I'm like, I need to know what's up with the moon.
Yeah, they do just mention offhandedly. Yeah, it's like a work camp. But I'm like, oh, is it? Or maybe it's actually a socialist paradise. I don't know.
Apparently, every civilization up there, the 2 major cities or whatever, at whatever point in time this was in that timeline, are completely subterranean.
Okay.
So them being on the surface, that's why it's called a tour. They're like, hey, come out on the surface of the moon and take the tour. Because I was scared when it was like, hey, this is a tour of the moon. I'm like, oh my God, is no one up there?
Yeah, I was like, can she not live there?
Does she get the tour and come back? Because that might make this rough ending even rougher, right? In which case, I would just take the helmet off. Like, fucking.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. So Adam says some of the funniest fucking lines in the show. You think you're special because you're scrappy?
Yeah. It's literally something David says earlier on the truck.
Can you afford distractions even right now? And it's just like, holy shit, he just shot his ass like immediately out of the gate. Oh, it's so good.
David's final mech form is so funny looking.
Yeah.
Like, his torso is just sitting there in the middle of a giant robot.
Yeah, it's almost Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's grotesque.
It is, absolutely.
There was something about it when divested of the human element, of just thinking about the mechanical nature of it and looking at that. It just reminded me of Gurren Lagann, obviously.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, yeah, you have like the spindly bits connecting these huge fucking bits. Like,
It reminded me of like somebody wearing like like whatever the big bipedal mech in Warhammer is. I forget their name.
Oh, when you say the big one, there's a few different.
The one that has like a desiccated almost corpse inside it.
If you hadn't have brought it up, I could have told you.
That's how that works, man. But yeah, when they find the truck with that device, I was like, how's that going to fit into his body? It's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cyber skeleton doesn't really convey what that thing is.
No.
I was like, is it going to go inside? Is it going to replace all of his existing mods?
cyber exoskeleton big rig.
God, and then that whole last section where he's like, I'm going to go put on the biggest, most brain-destroying armor. And Rebecca's like, I am not equipped to be the adult here. I need you to stop this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You feel bad for Rebecca.
You do.
She didn't deserve any of that.
No. I like how even Kiwi is like, what the heck am I doing? Like, after betraying them and everything, is like, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it was really amusing when Kiwi looked at her hand and said, man, I'm so fucked up.
Yes.
and then died.
She followed my least favorite trope in fiction. The first person to tell you to never trust anyone is going to fucking betray you.
Yep.
What can you do?
It really feeds back into that whole thing of, no, we've made a capitalist wasteland. Everyone's doing hustle culture and will kill each other for it. Mm-hmm. And they need to make sure that is close to the core cast as they can get it.
I liked the new character after the time jump who immediately trips a mine and gets viper eyes.
Oh, Julio.
Yes, that guy was really good.
Oh, he was so dumb.
I told him he wasn't ready. He wouldn't listen.
It was beautiful when, like, Faraday is on this power trip of, yes, my perfect plan is coming together, and Arasaka Net Security's like, can just get him in the building and we'll fucking kill him.
Right? They're just like, please.
Faraday acts like the smartest man in the world, and yet he screws up so many times. It's like, how does he think?
This is like by far the least competent Giancarlo Esposito character.
Yeah, that's true.
Normally he's the fucking mastermind.
Yeah,
because he does. I mean, and it reinforces the setting. This is what you don't do when you're a fixer. You do not fuck over your clients. You do not fuck over your runners. Like, you are supposed to be the only thing people can kind of count on in this whole economic structure. So when you try to jump ship, you get eaten.
Yeah, and he tried to do it like 2 ways at once, so he was really screwed.
Yeah, it's like he did the raptor thing from Jurassic World, but the raptors just ate him.
Yes.
It's like he tried to do it while covered in steaks.
After hitting them both on the nose. And then he's like, no, calm down. Oh, man, that fucking dialogue between him and Adam. Shut up and do your job, Merc. Who the fuck are you?
Like, do you not see this guy?
Right? Oh, man. I was gonna say one of the only elements of this where I have to talk about it in a tone less than glowing is something about the vocal quality of Giancarlo's mic and stuff gives him an almost like it's production wise sounds so different from every other character, but it reminded me of one thing that made me uncomfortable: Eon Flux. Something about his slow delivery and bass but smooth voice just reminded me so much of Eon Flux.
Yeah, there was something about that performance, because I didn't even know it was Giancarlo. I haven't watched other things with him.
I played through all Far Cry 6. It took me till episode 7 to be like, right, that is Giancarlo.
But his voice is so good for that villain character.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, there's just something about it that's perfect.
He has a huge amount of confidence in himself that is very misplaced, as you find out.
You think he'd call himself Nine Ball?
Fucking Nine Balls over here has 3 eyes.
God, even characters that only show up for one episode feel really well done, fleshed out. Like Johnny Kobayashi, or is it Jimmy Kobayashi?
Jimmy Kurosaki.
Oh my God, Kurosaki. My bad.
Yeah. Jimmy Kurosaki, he makes the brain dreams.
Yeah, he makes the brain dreams of people who are dying or whatever.
Or getting fucked.
Yes.
It's just, they couldn't go one episode without the BD girl scored.
No, they couldn't.
Yeah, it's
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, let me tell you, this is in the game too. Like, welcome to the future economy. We sell guns and skin.
Oh.
But yeah,
you can buy liquor at both places.
But yeah, Jimmy's very well executed in this.
Yeah, like, he's by no means a good character, but oh man, he has depths to him. Like, God, the scene where he's dying and then like
looks over at
off
David
on it is like, oh wow, yeah. I guess that is what the world does to you, huh?
He also knew Trauma Platinum was coming. That is one of my favorite mechanics in both of those games. That you can pay money to have basically a SWAT team show up with an ambulance. If you...
Yeah, that's in like the opening of Cyberpunk, the game, isn't it? I remember you're like, it's like, you got to find this person. Trauma's already on the way.
Like, you can, like, I know in Shadowrun specifically, instead of putting points into abilities or equipment or anything, you can just cash all of your character creation points into money. And you can use that money to buy like the double platinum dock wagon membership. And if anybody breathes on you wrong, ambulances fall out of the sky and just meat grinder everyone in the area.
Yeah, really. It's this parallel with modern society's take on health insurance.
Modern society.
And it hurts. American society. I'm sorry. It's way too real. It's like, oh yeah, there's that ambulance fee that I see on my papers, but this is it taken to the next level.
When the cops are like, where are you going? Sorry, our guy's dead. We're bugging out.
That yes. Part is so good. But about Jimmy, real quick, Kurosaki. It wasn't that he was getting off on dying, Bob.
No.
This is a man, his entire career is making brain dreams of people experiencing death.
Yes.
And he gets a high from people seeing it. So when he looks at David, appalled that he's dying, that's what he's getting off on.
Oh,
that look in David's eye of being repulsed and horrified. He enjoyed that. Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
What an unhinged son of a bitch. I mean, it makes sense. The first thing he does when he gets fucking David is experiment on him.
Yeah, no, he obviously wants David to go psycho so he can make the video of it.
God.
I was actually taken aback when you're like, we're Edgerunners. I'm like, oh, is that a thing? You know, Cyberpunks. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I did not know that was a thing in Cyberpunk because it's a bit on the nose. But it's apparently a reference to people who are like into body modification and getting chromed up. Cyberware. They are cyberpunks.
And somebody told me that Edgerunners Incorporated is a source book for 2020, like the original tabletop game.
Huh.
Or I think the original was 2013. 2020 came later.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 2013 is the original. 2020 came later. I don't think there could be better glowing praise than, you know, the original creator of Cyberpunk. When the game came out, he's like, this is fucking has no idea what my work was about. Fuck this game. This is just using it as set dressing. And the anime comes out, and I guess they watched it a couple weeks before release, and he's like, this shit's fucking great. Get excited.
I hope this is successful enough for them to be like, let's just write a second season.
Right? And the good
It
thing
doesn't
is
have to have any of the same characters.
Right? They can't.
I mean, it can't. They're all dead.
It's so fucking weird that Netflix paid Trigger to make an anime based on a CD Projekt Red game, and it's one of the sickest animes in years.
Right?
Yeah, I was really glad this didn't like end in one of those, oh, we'll tune in for next season when we'll finish the story. No, this is a fully self-contained thing.
Which is why it's funny every time I see a review from sites like IGN and other places that have to do this sort of thing, where it's like, Cyberpunk Edgerunners Season 1. It's like, man, this thing ends on a fucking period. And yet you could absolutely do more. Isn't that beautiful when you have a piece you made that had a story that ended and had an arc and it was beautiful, but of course more can happen, and you don't, you know, and your thing with what's going to happen next? We don't know. You gotta renew this. People who funded us, viewers, you gotta harangue them to renew us.
I was so mad at how many different things I had to click on to find this when I booted up Netflix to watch it.
Really?
I was like, why the fuck is this not on the front page?
Yeah, that was weird for me.
Maybe because it's, you know, so mature, like it has so much gore and titties.
Remember when that was the point of the internet?
Yes.
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 Now it's like, oh, I can't say a swear word or YouTube will take my money away.
You know, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, maybe between all the streaming services crashing, the internet will fall, like money will fall out of the internet, and maybe some reclamation could be had, but that's optimistic.
You know, there was a brief moment after the episode where Maine dies. I was like, okay, maybe David's going to take this as an opportunity to de-escalate. And no.
Next episode, he's entirely metallic.
Yeah, next episode's like, nope. Okay,
Huge.
Oof.
They waste no time. He starts to show like symptoms that episode.
I know, right? It's like, oh my god, why is he still going after the symptoms show up? It's like he can't stop.
Everybody's like, wow, I'm really surprised you haven't gone crazy and died yet. He's like, yeah, I know, that's pretty great. Put more metal in me.
He's like, isn't that awesome? I guess I'm just built different. And I'm like, oh no. He keeps saying that because it's not true.
Yeah.
You keep thinking like, kid, you're a moron. What are you doing? But you're also watching it going, yeah. This is going to happen.
Yep.
I think the most, like I said before, that Lucy as a character being good was just a flex of skill. Her design being Kmart Motoko Kusanagi from, Jesus Christ, I'm brain farting.
Ghost in the Shell.
Thank you. I'm like, where'd it go?
See, I got like Makoto Kusanagi fused with Leo Fodia from Promare.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, it's definitely the younger, hipper, more internet forward version of that design. But just the fact that they're like, we're making a cyberpunk anime and we're just going to do that. That was a fucking called shot.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's a very specific outfit. Like you can't put someone in that and be like, it's not Makoto.
The A line with oh my god, the confidence. I mean, who else but Trigger would have the balls?
Exactly.
I mean, Atom Smasher basically just looks like Sundowner from Metal Gear Rising.
He does, absolutely.
By the way, I know you probably don't care. Raish Barchmoss. It is in my notes.
Thank you.
I just had to find how I spelt it.
That is such a cool part of that setting. We're like, yeah, he took down the old internet, so we just kind of walled that shit off.
Right, and now it's just infested with rogue AIs.
Yeah,
I'm like, good
rogue
lord.
AIs that eat children, literally. I'm like, this fucking rules. Hey guys, we found a data cache. There might be. Oh my god! So fucking good. At this point, I have virtually nothing left to say for the reason of everything in this is really great. It's different scales of great, and I could just be talking about it nonstop. I think one of the last things I have to point at and say anything about is, man, that soundtrack sure was headed up by Akira Yamaoka. Intro song by Franz Ferdinand. Outro song completely original. The ending song's great. I actually really like that. Also, a great use of a Franz Ferdinand song. The soundtrack's neat. It is Akira Yamaoka core, but that's basically it. Everything in this is very insanely, expertly executed.
Mm.
So I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, no, like the next step is to boot up episode 1 and just go through it scene by scene.
Here's our commentary track. We're going to break down how great every moment is.
It's fucking Trigger on their A game. That's what it is.
This is S+ tier. I love so much Trigger stuff. And this is the peak to me. Mm. This is the absolute peak in my opinion. Good Lord. I did not come in expecting that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a page out of the books of Spoilercast review and start mixing all of our show formats together like it's Zoom. Good summary review and a score out of 10.
Oh,
I see.
Added a lot more math.
Yeah,
pretty cyberpunk.
Chroming up this podcast. We're good.
Wait. If I give it a high score, will I lose my sanity?
You're gonna have to roll for that. I'm sorry.
Who
Okay,
knows?
now you guys are doing Chaosium. Let's keep this straight here.
We're gonna go ahead and start with Bob. Bob, say words and number out of 10.
This is really stellar, genuinely amazing. I will probably never watch it again because it is hyper depressing. Like it's
Oh yeah, it sure is.
it goes in the same box as Devilman Crybaby. Oh my god, I'm so glad you made this. Shoves it aside.
God, it's not that bad. Thank God.
Wait,
I don't think I could make it through a 10 episode Devilman Crybaby.
Oh god, that wasn't 10 episodes. It felt like
It was 6.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, it's not quite there. It's still really bad though, and it feels more real because of all of the health insurance stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give this a 10 and just be like, okay, I don't need to see it again though.
you're not gonna refresh yourself in case they do a season 2?
No.
Okay, next we'll go to Chris Wolfart.
This is really great in every way that matters. 10.
Dr. Aggro.
This is the kind of work that elevates its medium. This is one of those things you can point to for the rest of time when someone goes, I don't know, is it an anime? Watch this, motherfucker. 10.
This anime is so great. We made it all the way to the end, and not once did anyone bring up the absolutely amazing moment where his schoolmate starts going wa-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta while punching insanely fast with the mods. That was absolutely peak hilarity. But seriously, though, this is absolutely incredible. This is peak anime. If you had 8 anime seasons or movies in your collection, sweet God, does this need to be one of them. It sits so high up the chain. The 10 out of 10. Obviously. Fucking incredible. Oh, hey, it was all 10s. Who could have seen that coming?
Whoa.
Oh.
Well, we said a number out loud. That means the podcast gets to end.
Nova.
This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.